Central America keeps appearing on more travel lists every year, and it is not hard to understand why. Relatively short flights from North America, extraordinary nature, a range of experiences that genuinely surprises people who arrive expecting just beaches, and a value proposition that is hard to argue with. Costa Rica and Panama come up together constantly, and most people planning a trip to the region end up going back and forth between them for longer than they expected. Here is the honest breakdown of what each one actually delivers. Cost. Cost is where this comparison gets genuinely interesting because the two countries have very different reputations. Costa Rica is widely regarded as one of the more expensive destinations in Latin America, and that reputation is generally accurate by most traveler accounts. The ecotourism infrastructure is excellent, but it is not cheap. A night at a well-regarded lodge in the rainforest or near one of the national parks runs between $100 and $250 in many popular areas by most estimates. Food and transport add up faster than in neighboring countries. Panama is generally considered more affordable, particularly outside of Panama City's upscale Casco Viejo neighborhood. The Bocas del Toro archipelago, which is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful areas in the country, has a range of accommodation options at different price points. Most budget travelers find Panama stretches further, though neither country is rock-bottom cheap by Latin American standards. Nature. This is the heart of why most people choose either destination, and both have extraordinary cases to make. Costa Rica has built an entire national identity around its natural wealth, and that identity is earned. Roughly a quarter of the country's land is protected in national parks and reserves by most geographic estimates, and the biodiversity within that land is extraordinary. The cloud forests of Monteverde, where mist moves through the treetops and quetzals, appear if someone is lucky and patient. The Osa Peninsula, widely regarded as one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. The volcanoes, the turtle nesting beaches. Panama counters with natural credentials that most travelers dramatically underestimate. The Darien region, which borders Colombia, is one of the most untouched wilderness areas in the Western Hemisphere, according to most conservation sources. The cloud forests of Chiriquí are considered world-class by most birding and hiking communities. And the marine life around the Bocas del Toro Islands and Coiba National Park is extraordinary by most divers' accounts. Most nature travelers give Costa Rica a narrow edge simply because the infrastructure makes the nature more accessible. Panama's nature is arguably rawer and in some ways more spectacular. It is just harder to reach. Culture and cities. Panama City is one of the most genuinely surprising cities in the whole region, and most first-time visitors say they underestimated it completely. The skyline looks like a smaller Miami. Casco Viejo, the old colonial district, is one of the most charming neighborhoods in Central America by most travel accounts. Crumbling churches next to rooftop bars, French and Spanish colonial architecture being slowly and beautifully restored. The canal itself, the Panama Canal, is one of the genuine engineering wonders of the modern world, and seeing it in operation is the kind of experience most visitors find more moving than they expected. Costa Rica's cities are functional rather than remarkable in most travelers' experience. San Jose has its advocates, but most visitors treat it as a transit point rather than a destination. The real culture of Costa Rica lives outside the cities. In the pura vida attitude that most people arrive skeptical of and leave genuinely converted by. Beaches. Both countries have extraordinary coastline. Costa Rica's Pacific coast, particularly around Santa Teresa, Nosara, and the Nicoya Peninsula, is widely regarded as some of the best surf and beach territory in the Americas. The Caribbean side is quieter, greener, and less developed. Panama's Bocas del Toro offers the kind of turquoise shallow water island hopping experience that most beach travelers put at the top of their list. The Pearl Islands in the Pacific are less visited and widely considered spectacular. Most beach-focused travelers find Panama's islands slightly more dramatic. Most surfers tend to lean toward Costa Rica. Ease of travel. Costa Rica is one of the most well-developed tourist destinations in Latin America, and it shows. Roads, transport options, tour operators, and infrastructure have been built specifically for international visitors over decades. Getting around is relatively straightforward by regional standards. Panama is less immediately navigable in some areas. Getting to Bocas del Toro requires a domestic flight or a long overland journey, and some of the most extraordinary natural areas require a guide and genuine planning. Always check current visa and entry requirements on the official government website before booking either country, as requirements do change for different passport holders. The verdict: Costa Rica tends to suit travelers who want world-class nature made as accessible as possible. A trip where the extraordinary is never more than a short drive from a comfortable bed. It is one of the most well-executed ecotourism destinations on the planet, and most visitors leave having had exactly the experience they came for. Panama tends to suit travelers who want that same natural richness but are willing to work a little harder for it in exchange for fewer crowds and more genuine discovery. Add Panama City to the beginning or end of a nature itinerary, and most travelers find it one of the most well-rounded trips in the region. Go to Costa Rica to be effortlessly blown away. Go to Panama to feel like you actually found something. Subscribe, and next Tuesday brings another comparison that is worth watching all the way through.